Afternoon. This is Dr. John Bennett broadcasting from Miami for a regularly scheduled conference hangout. And this particular conference is a meeting of the global students who are neurosurgery lovers. And I guess we'll just go around the room here and introduce. This is a very informal meeting. This is the first meeting. We're trying to figure out how we're going to work this. And why don't we start off with Slaven, who's heading the effort. Hello, Slaven.
Hello everyone. I'm a medical student in Croatia, in Zagreb, and I'm really honored to be able to make my effort in gathering some students around the world and to bind them all together so we can discuss a field of medicine that kind of motivated us through our studies, and I think is shaping the best part of our future way of thinking in medicine. So I would like to introduce the other members of the panel now, as Dr. Bennett is saying, and let's talk and introduce each other, one of us to each other. Okay.
Okay.
So, Alex, are you going to lead this, Dr. Bennett, or may I?
No, why don't you take over? It's
yeah,
it's your group, it's your show. Go ahead.
Okay, so Alex, welcome.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about where you study? It's and something about, what motivates you in neurosurgery, and just for a start, you can tell something about yourself for now.
Okay, I'll try to be concise with each question you pose me. So, hello everybody. I'm Alex Dimancha from Bucharest, Romania, from Carol Davila University of Medicine and Pharmacy. I just finished my 5th year. And now for the second question, what motivates me? Basically, the impact neurosurgery has on each and every patient. I believe in the near future, besides, tumor resection or augmenting some functions, we can restore some functions. So that is my belief, that what keeps me going for now. And something about myself that relates to neurosurgery, so it's not a far shot. I believe that in neurosurgery, in every domain of life, but mostly in neurosurgery, practice makes perfect. And I'm a very passionate learner, so I think my habits of working and working and working are very adequate for this field. That's my opinion. I'm very concentrated when I get something in my sight.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so Gaurav, you also are here in the panel. Welcome. Can you tell us something about yourself?
Okay. Hello everyone. I am Gaurav Bhatta from Nepal, and I'm also a medical student studying my 3rd year in College of Medical Sciences. I'm very glad to be a part of this. Being together with some elite neurosurgeons and students, so passionate learners around here. As today I have to answer the same question: why I'm interested in neurosurgery.
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit what is the most interesting thing about neurosurgery to you?
From my childhood, when I started to know what is medical science, I used to be interested in human brain. We have this much of brain in our head, but that can think, amazing things, right? And I've been always, amazed by the power of the brain. So, by studying neurosurgery, I want to explore something that is hidden inside still. Right, it's been a bit still filled of mystery in medical science. So I want to explore new things, and that's why. And maybe I'm also studying under the guidance of our Professor Dr. Abitarian. So maybe I'm also influenced by him. That's it.
Great.
Thanks.
Okay. Well. Thank you very much for these thoughts. I would also like to welcome here Rakesh. He's a little bit older student, taking his residency now. But Rakesh, we also want to know, what keeps you going in neurosurgery? What keeps you motivated up to this date?
Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Rakesh Evi and I'm from India. I'm a neurosurgery resident. I'm not as old as Slaven says. I'm just a beginner in the neurosurgery too. Uh, one thing, as both of them, Alex and Gaurav said, that's what fascinates every neurosurgeon, every neurosurgery resident or aspirant. The thing that aspired me much is, as a person, I love challenges. That is what I feel is what I do, no other specialty should do. Like for example, brain is a part of the body which you should have a very precise thing to touch with. You can't leave any deficit. That is a basic challenge. So I like and I love accepting challenges. So that is the area of the human body where I decided that I should anyway. And when I first saw the brain surgery, that gave me something called goosebumps. So that's why I selected this branch.
Great,
Thank you.
great. Well, those
Thank you.
goosebumps, I think they are familiar to everyone here because,
Yeah.
and also Simon is here. He's from in far away Japan. He's a very, very specific medical student with really great efforts to both bind people in medicine. And I think you've done so many great things for now, Simon. So why don't you give us a quick peek into all the things that
Okay.
you're doing?
Well, I'm older than Rakesh, maybe twice as old. I don't know. But I'm
But
one of
he looks younger and smarter than me.
Thank you.
Looks younger, yeah.
Well, thank you so
Looks
much.
don't count here,
Well, I'm actually starting a second career. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I've been working with child and family psychology for 20 years. My
Oh,
degree, PhD, is in clinical, developmental psychology, and then a postdoctorate in clinical psychology, focusing on developmental disabilities such as Asperger's syndrome,
mhm.
autism, other types of developmental challenges, learning disabilities. But when I decided to go back and follow my dream, this started with the journey with Dr. Bennett, actually, who introduced me to so many specialties. And I always wanted to be a neurosurgeon, but it just seemed like a ridiculous thing. So I decided to become the world's oldest neurosurgery resident. And so I'm putting that challenge to myself, and you'll see when you reach the age that I'm 50, time slows down, and there's no longer a hurry in life. So I'm
Mm.
enjoying it. Slavin has taught me so much, and I'm looking forward to working, and Rakesh also in his level of understanding. So I'm definitely the consummate student.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we learned so much from you, Simon, especially from your medical school pathology lectures
No,
and
thank you,
and other stuff that you're
thank you.
doing.
I make
Simon is actually working also on USMLE preparations, as if I'm correct.
Yes, I work with USMLE RX and also pathologystudent.com. I make pathology videos. And I'm going to start working making USMLE preparation videos. So I love doing it. It's so fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's
Dr.
amazing.
Simon,
It's amazing.
I wanted to interrupt. Do Dr. Simon teach for USMLE?
No, well, if you're familiar with USMLE RX, which is the company that makes first aid,
Uh-huh.
they welcome really enthusiastic students to make videos and
Mhm.
become authors for their program, coached and trained by their team. And so, luckily, I've been invited to join their team, and so in that way, I will be learning myself. But I'm a bookworm in that I love to read MCQs, and
Uh-huh.
I've become, I think, pretty good at the USMLE questions, so I have a good chance to
Okay,
teach, and
interesting.
to teach you. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I missed is probably to say why am I so interested in neurosurgery and how I began to
Yeah.
fell on the
Before you
floor
start,
and
before you
yeah,
before you
yeah,
start,
say
I
say say.
yeah. So, as we all know here, Slaven is the leader of this community. What's going on now? The neurosurgery, young neurosurgeons group. So, as we all told about our neurosurgery interest, we would like to hear from Slaven. But one more interesting thing about Slaven is he runs a Roton course on neuroanatomy. So along with your interest in neurosurgery, we would also like to know your interest. How did your interest start with Roton course, and how you are conducting that?
No, it's actually. Thank you, Rakesh, for your remarks. I'm really honored to hear something like this about myself. I'm usually, hearing very wrong things about myself. I'm joking, but it's very nice to receive these insights. Well, actually, I would like to tell you probably that there were two moments in my life that left me speechless. And one of these moments was when I was for the first time holding a human brain in my bare hands. This was at my neuroanatomy course, and when I actually received it, I still remember as though it was today, although it was some time ago. But when I saw this organ, it looked so, how can I say, real, but also so vulnerable that something just left me speechless, and I couldn't behave normally after that. So when I finished my class, I went to our library store, and I took any book that I could find about neurosurgery. I found one book called the Compendium of Neurosurgery. That's like a small book of most significant themes in neurosurgery. That was written by one great professor here in Zagreb, who is called Professor Josip Paladino. He's a great neurosurgeon who was running the main university hospital center called Rebro. That means the rib, if translated. We call it all the rib. That's the University Hospital Center of Zagreb, and he was the chairman of the oldest neurosurgical clinic in Croatia. That's the neurosurgery clinic at this University Hospital Center. And when I read this book, it was so fascinating to read about the lasers they use to resect tumors, to read about specific approaches that they used. It was nothing like it. When I first never thought about neurosurgery. I was very interested in surgery when I was at little age, as I spoke to Simon earlier when we were doing an interview for MedShare. But I always knew that there's a chapter of this book that I knew as a little child that I will get to know later in my life. And I said, yes, this is promising. I just want to close the book, get to this level, and I will find it, I'm sure. And when I found neurosurgery, I just knew that this is the chapter I was looking for. It was like Star Wars. I could never imagine that something existed in reality similar to this. And the other moment that left me speechless was actually a kata in karate. Simon is in Japan, and there is a karate master, a grandmaster, who is holding the Tendan, the level in karate, which very few people have, who is called Hirokazu Kanazawa, and he performed kata unsu, which you can view at YouTube. And it is the most complicated karate kata, where you have this jump, and you have to turn 360 degrees and land on the floor without touching it with any central part of your body. So it's the hardest kata, which was developed through 200 years. And in this, when I first saw this combination of how can I say, physical parts and knowledge, and also the art, was what captivated me. And I think it's kind of the same thing in another way, because when you see top sportsmen and when you see professor of neurosurgery operating, you kind of have the same feeling, like when I saw Professor Miklic, he's a pediatric neurosurgeon, taking the craniotome and cutting through the bone. He was doing calvaria remodeling for the developmental disorder of the sutures of the skull. So it was a trigonocephaly, And when he was no, scaphocephaly, sorry, scaphocephaly, yes. And when he was performing this operation, he needed to make a spiral cut with the craniotome in order to make a green staple
Excuse me,
fracture.
Slaven.
Yeah.
I have to go to the hospital. I have an emergency. But Garab and
Okay.
Alex, welcome, and you're in
Thank
good
you.
hands.
Thank
You're
you
in
to
good
the.
hands with Simon and Rakesh, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Dr.
Okay, sir.
Bennett.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye,
Oh,
Dr. Bennett.
Good
As
day.
you all know, Dr.
bye.
Bennett is the founder of this whole project, and I really wanted. I was very sorry that he left before, because I wanted to ask him what made him so interested in neurosurgery also, because he was at the panel. But I think we will find this out one day. So,
Yeah, we'll
Dr.
find it
Bennett,
in every day. Ask him.
Okay.
It
Now
Slaven,
we're alone without.
it will build suspense till next time.
Yeah. Yes, Lavin,
yeah,
continue your scaphocephaly drilling.
yeah. Well, I'm about to finish this story, because when this neurosurgeon was operating, and this is a brilliant neurosurgeon. I've never seen a neurosurgeon with so much compassion and carefulness when operating. He was putting iodine on every layer of the wound, just
Mhm.
to make sure that there are no infections. So that was his student, and this neurosurgeon under Professor Miklic was actually he started operating when he was a medical student at this same institution, I think. And it was
Mhm.
amazing. He always says that Professor Miklic supported him from the era when he was a student, and there were no student organizations at that time which would allow this. So he very gladly received students, and like this he received me as well, to be there in the operating hall and to observe the operation. And then when Professor this doctor wanted to see Professor Miklic to perform this very hard part of the operation. So Professor took the craniotome, and when he jumped on it, the neurosurgeon kind of said, "Professor, be careful, please." And he was operating so fast, so precise, that I really couldn't tell what he was doing. It was completely something on a higher level than any other neurosurgeon you could see. And then he just stopped, looked at us like this, like he's going to do a trick, and performed that green fracture. And it was so amazing to see a professor of neurosurgery. It's kind of a higher level of thinking. That integration of knowledge, of skill, of art in the operation. That I think it's really the amazing. So I'm telling you about the moments that really make me to feel the same as Alex described. I really wanted
Well,
to practice something, to devote
well,
myself to practicing
Levin,
it.
Levin, was that
Yeah,
was that on a cadaver or a living human being?
that was a real operation on a real child. That was
Okay.
I think that was a little. I'm not sure now if it was a girl or a boy. I think it was a little boy,
Mm-hmm.
about 2 years of age.
Okay.
But
Mhm.
the interesting thing is that the mother of this boy was a dentist, and
Okay.
she was kind of, yeah, but she was
Mhm.
very worried, because when she heard that he's going to have his calvaria cut in order to
Mhm.
in this operation you need to remodel the bones
Okay.
at
Yeah.
the topest part of the skull to make cuts. And
Mhm.
when you do this, you will be able to remodel the top of the skull. It will all fuse together back, suture
Uh-huh.
back, afterwards.
Yeah.
But at
Uh-huh.
this point, you first need to how can I say, remodel what's gone wrong in the development, and that is that the diameter of the skull is too broad,
Uh-huh.
too far. Okay,
Mhm.
so those are two moments that I wanted to say. And now, may I ask you, I would like to discuss a little bit more about this at this point, and then I'll shortly describe the rotten thing. Okay.
Yeah, I want to come in. Yeah,
S-
two things what Slaven said, like all of us want to do surgery. We want to cut once we enter the medical field. Uh, all first thing is we want to do surgery. We don't want to sit at a place and give medicines. We want to cut. And the second thing develops when you do anatomy, and when you start when you reach dissection of the brain. So when you see brain,
Mhm,
that
mhm.
if a neurosurgeon, a would-be neurosurgeon, will get that goosebumps. The same thing happened with me also. I remembered once a Slaven told. So the whole human anatomy dissection, I was all through the body. I was like mild. I was not concentrating too much. I was just, when it came to brain, I started taking the. I still remember the